Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to share an experience with you that I've been looking forward to for like 25 years or something like that. But last month I turned 40, which feels really weird. Strangest birthday I've had in a long time. My dad ended up giving me a gift that blew my mind. I didn't expect it, but it was the Nascar driving experience at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We're locals here, so we've been going to the NASCAR races out there. It never even occurred to me to look into the driving experience. I would say overall it was a pretty incredible experience, bucket list item kind of thing for me. I wouldn't say life-changing, but it was kind of one of those like, I'll never forget that or the feeling, and it was just really cool. Crystal tells me that this is something that NASCAR does all year long at every track that there is. Man, could you imagine Talladega? I wonder what they let you get up to. Anyway, look into it. There's a track near you somewhere, and I'm gonna highly recommend this experience just right off the bat. You show up, you get in line. There wasn't a ton of people. I think that day I saw 20, 25 people in the group, and everyone was just sort of standing around, and then eventually they open up the trailer and call people forward, and so you start getting registered and all that. It took maybe 45 minutes to get through that whole process. Even if you're the front of the line, you get registered while you're waiting for everyone else to get registered for your class. So either way, you're gonna wait that whole time before starting your training. But once you're all registered, you go back to a class. They flip on a video that I think was 20 minutes long-ish, I can't remember. They talk through kind of how it's all gonna go. My impression of the training was that it was fine. I was not worried at all. I don't think I even needed the training personally, but I'm sure plenty of people would feel better just to know more what to expect. But for me, I was like, just put me in the car and let me go. If you've never driven a stick, then yeah, probably take the class and get an idea of what you're gonna be doing there. Anyway, you get done with the video and they give you your suit and you start putting that on. It's a onesie if you're into those, but that's for your safety. If the car catches on fire, it's gonna help you not burn up as quick. And it also makes you feel really cool. So I don't know how good I looked in it, but it was a fun element to be able to wear one of those racing suits. Once it's your turn to drive, you're gonna get your helmet, which they're gonna help you put that on. They're gonna put the Hans device on you so that you don't get a TBI if you hit the wall. And then they help you get in the car, which is definitely a challenge. If you didn't know that NASCARs don't have doors, it's a solid body. So you have to get in through the window, which is not that large. Once I was in the car, I did sit there for a while. They've got a row of cars and several people they're trying to help. So eventually a guy came up and helped me get my radio situated and got the volume set and all that. And then I just kind of waited my turn. Eventually they came over and said, okay, it's your turn. They started the car, which that was a really cool moment because it was like, okay, here we go. Not only does the car sound amazing, but once you fire it up, you just feel like you're about to ride a wild stallion. I don't even know what to liken it to, but it's just like, oh my goodness, to feel that kind of power underneath you. It was definitely an exciting moment. But start the car, you put it in gear, your spotter comes on and says, all right, it's time to go. Here's what you're gonna do. And they talk you through like what you learned in class basically, which is you're gonna start out going and you're gonna get through all 4 gears before you get up onto the track. So you come out of pit lane, you bang through 4 gears pretty quick. And I will throw in there, if you've never driven a stick, the sensitivity of the clutch is different on every vehicle. So most vehicles on the road, if you let the clutch out, it's just gonna jump forward and stall. But like semi trucks and NASCARs, it turns out, are not like that. The clutch is so tight that if you gave it no gas, So if you didn't feather at all and you just let off the clutch slowly, it would actually start to go just fine. And then you can push the gas pedal down from there if you wanted to. So it's very forgiving. And then another thing is inside the car, like, it's incredibly raw. It's just a big hunk of metal designed to move around that track as efficiently as possible. So there's no comforts built into this thing. And I ended up actually getting bruised underneath my arm from the partition, and like, don't expect a really cushy, comfortable ride. Once I got the signal to pull out of pit lane, it was definitely like one of the cooler moments of the experience, is getting on it, racking through the gears, and starting to kind of feel the car. It was just exhilarating. Like, longtime NASCAR fan, automotive enthusiast. We went to NASCAR a few years ago, and lap one, like, I was moved to tears. Like, I'm that guy or whatever. So it was just a really cool moment in the whole experience, was that first time I took off out of pit lane. And I was a little bit more gentle than I think I had to be. I think I thought at the time, like, oh, I don't want to spin the tires, but they kind of talk you through that first entry. You stay at the bottom of the track. You're getting up to, I think it's like, I can't remember the RPMs now, but everything is done in RPMs. There's no speedometer, and all you're looking at is your tachometer. And I think they told me to get up to 3,000 RPMs. And then from there, I moved up onto the track. They're talking to you about traffic to watch out for and where to stay on the track. And then once you're on the track, you get up to 4,800 RPMs, which I'm guessing it was maybe like 120, 130 miles an hour. And there's lines on the track that you follow to kind of keep you in the proper line around the track. So you're going up to speed, and the 24 minutes that I bought was broken up into 8-minute chunks. Not sure how many laps that is, but it was a good first run and totally exhilarating, total adrenaline rush, and it was just awesome. You go back in and you kind of wait your turn. They let some other people go out, all that.
There he goes.
I noticed right away on that first run, one of the big marks against the experience is the fact that I could not hear my spotter. It is so loud in the car. I could kind of make out stuff he was saying, but most of the time I didn't have a clue, and just sort of did what I thought I was supposed to do. And I could kind of hear, like, okay, bring it down, and I don't know if it was the guy or it was probably more so the equipment, but he was talking too fast. He wasn't saying stuff slow enough and enunciating, so he could have done a better job, but the volume was maxed out and I still just like could not hear him over the car. So that was kind of a big bummer. It was a little bit stressful because I was like, dang, what if he's telling me to do something and I just have no clue and don't do it? So I did key up and I say, I can barely hear you, which he said something back and I didn't know what he said, but at least he knew that I probably couldn't hear him. My impression of the actual driving experience on the track was, I really loved it for kind of gaining a new perspective for what the NASCAR drivers are looking at when they're out there racing. It's really cool to kind of experience the way the car moves, the G's that you feel in the turn. I noticed that on straightaways, you're actually turning right just to keep the thing straight. And then as you go into a turn, you actually have to sort of turn further to the right to keep the thing from diving along with the banked track. And then you can kind of start to turn left to kind of keep it in the part of the track that you want to be on in the turn. the really apparent thing to me was that that car was designed to hook around that track. It felt really stable. It wanted to be in the turn. It wanted to be pushed. Like it just felt really cool in that way. Another drawback, in my opinion, of the experience was that my first few laps of each session, I got caught behind a slower driver. And this was probably someone that was doing the driving and they just were not getting up to the speed that they were supposed to. Maybe they were just taking it easy or whatever, but you have to stay a number, let's just say 4 or 5 car lengths back from the traffic in front of you. And then eventually when they work it out with the spotters, they will let you pass that person. But a couple times there was 2 or 3 laps where I just had to go kind of slow around someone, and I was like, okay, that I didn't pay for that. I didn't think it was fair to make me wait the 2 or 3 laps, but whatever. It felt good passing them. I get to my last 8-minute session and I go out, and this one is supposed to be the one where I get up to, dang, I forget now. Let's just call it 5,200 RPM. You're supposed to go faster. I guess the idea is you've been out there a couple times, you have a feel for the car, you know what to expect. So they're supposed to come in and take the computer chip out that's limiting you to 4,800 RPMs, and they put a new one in. Well, they forgot to do that for me. So I get all the way out there, several minutes into the session, the guy's like, I think he's saying, you can go faster. And I told him, I'm restricted to 4,800. So I go back into pit lane, they get my chip swapped out properly, and then I got basically a 4th 8-minute session for free, which I had no complaints about that. But the last session was definitely different. The G-forces increased quite a bit, and it was way louder. I heard pretty much nothing from my spotter at that point, but I kind of knew from the other sessions what he was probably saying, and I just kind of felt my way through it. But it was, I'd say, the most satisfying session because I wasn't nervous. I knew how the car was going to drive and react, and the increase in speed was like very noticeable and felt really good. Afterwards, I found out that I got up to 155 miles an hour. I believe the ride along gets you up to 180, 185, but it was still fast enough for me to have a whole new respect for the drivers out there, because like it was a good amount of work, and there's no AC in those things. They get a little bit of airflow or whatever, but like you're working and just trying to like keep that thing on the track because it just wants to go. But super cool experience, very exciting. Definitely got emotional because it was one of those types of things where I was just like, wow.
Well, I got a little teared up there. Really?
Yeah, it's pretty emotional, but obviously I miss my calling. Yeah, it's such a unique experience that you have to do it. Yeah, overall, the whole thing was pretty epic. Glad I got to do it. Glad I didn't have to pay for it because it seemed expensive. And it's something I'll definitely remember and appreciate for a long time. While we were there, my dad had gone with us, and he actually decided to do the ride along, and he's in a wheelchair. And I was surprised to see that he can kind of walk a little bit, but they helped him out. Basically got him up on a stool, helped him into the car. It took a little bit more time, but they got him in there and got him strapped in, and he got to experience the speeds around the track. And he said that it was pretty amazing. He also cited that the car is just not built for comfort or luxury, and the G-forces just jam your body into metal, and you kind of end up feeling it afterwards, but it's still worth it. And such a unique experience, I think, for both of us. And let me know what you think. If you've done this before, share your own experience. Let me know if you have questions. And thanks for watching. See you on another one soon.